switched over the title card. Like it says, it's going live, and it should just be the title card up right now, if I'm correct.
Okay, so we go. Is the audio going to pump through when the title card's on?
I think so. Yeah, I think we're going through right now. It's technically live. So as soon as it turns to 11 a.m. on my thing, I'm going to switch it over to the start of the show. But right now, if anybody's tuning in, they're getting the behind-the-scenes off-air audio. This is exclusive content,
which
right
we haven't publicized either.
No. This is not advertised at all. So if we get anybody that tunes in randomly, maybe it just calls them up and be like, "Hey, we're going live." All right, here we go. Start the show. Oops, hit the wrong button. All right, there we are. We are live for another edition of the Untitled Manny and Marcus Show. I am Marcus. To my left or right, I don't know how to point in this thing. There's Manny.
Why are we starting like this?
I don't know. It's the only way to start a show. I feel like it's not essentially part of the DSPN or the Sharpshooters Sports Network. What's the SN stand for?
DSPN is the Sharpshooters Production Network.
Yeah, there we go. It wouldn't be that without chaos to start the show. Oh, Eric just texted me. You guys can make that private and it will live stream. What? I don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, I see it now.
What? We're not live? Or is it private?
No, it's live.
Oh. Hey! We're not twins. I have a beard and glasses. Oh, nope. Manny has his glasses on too. Well, we're twins.
Well, I've lost my beard, so how can we be twins?
Your beard, yeah, but your beard was more of a goatee and a stubble. This is a beard right here. This is 800 months or, 2 months of
800 months.
800 months. I don't know how many times that is in years, but it's 800 months. Alright, so let's begin the show. How you doing today, Manny?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. It's another exciting Thursday. Although I did get the call to go back to work next week. It kind of hurts. This brings a tear to my eye that my vacation is completely over. That is done.
It wasn't necessarily a vacation.
Yeah, I know. It's the last. It's the only thing I'm going to have that felt like a vacation. I'm going to look back at this time and realize how much time I've actually wasted. Like,
I got a calculation of how much I wasted because I've watched the entire run of The Simpsons on Disney Plus. So I'm from season 1 to season 30, and that is about 240 hours.
Don't tell nobody that, man. Don't tell nobody.
Well, I've just said it on the internet, but you've done some work. See, if you look up there, if you can see, right up there's some graphics. Later there'll be some down here. Marcus is putting some work on this show.
Yeah, Chris is telling me not to go to work, or is he telling me it's not working? But maybe I'll let them know. Hopefully no one I know is tuning in live and being like, hey, guess what? Marcus is going to fake this. He's going to milk this unemployment for the rest of his life, which I might. That's life.
The Giggling Twin Show.
Yep, that's what we do. That's the life we're doing. So let's move on to the show. First off, we're going to start off with the AEW recap show. Check out the special effects to this. It is going to be a new high-packed, jam-packed show. It's really distracting looking at Chris.
I'll keep an eye on the chat. You steer the show.
I'll steer the show. It's distracting. Hold on. I'm going to move that down so I don't see the chat because it's very distracting and me trying to read it. With that being said, we're going to start off with AEW. AEW this week was a 2-hour show, surprisingly. I don't know if I've ever seen that before from them. In which they had featured Cody Rhodes in the main event against Mark Quinn, the debut of the FTR, and Jericho beating Orange Cassidy with 20 pounds of oranges. So I'm going to ask... Blood oranges. If they weren't Crip oranges, they were complete blood oranges. So, Manny, I'm going to ask for your thoughts or what stood out for you on this show of AEW.
Just a good old tag team match between FTR and the Butcher and the Blade. Very good, solid match. Jericho making note of him having prison tattoos, and all I thought was of Prison Mike from The Office.
Having prison, like the prison tattoos for me, for the Butcher is the best thing he's done, because he's like, it just gives backdrop. Like, my favorite thing was Jericho saying he's only been wrestling for 6 years, and JR comment and says, well, he was doing 10 to 20 before he started this. So I understand why he was so late in the game, which cracked me up, and it's very rare.
We don't know about the underground prison wrestling scene.
No. Honestly, we're talking about, and I know it sounds like a serious topic, and I'm somewhat serious. They are doing prison reform. If we could do something like that and get some of these wrestlers, some of these prisoners some reform and give them wrestling training, and they end up in the wrestling business, I don't think we'd get a bunch of new jacks, but we will get some good wrestlers, because it would reform it. It'll give somebody a different outlet.
Yeah, it worked for Booker T.
I think it's a terrible idea. People would do moves wrong to squash beefs. Like, I would do a pile driver on top of somebody's head to end it. With that being said, like, oh yeah, what? Shank him. No, that was a spot. That was a spot that just went wrong. Like, no, you don't want that to happen. Like, so, with that being said, I really enjoyed the opening match between the FTR and the Butcher and the Blade. I thought this was one of the better tag matches AEW has produced, since most of their matches don't follow rules and it's just a bunch of high spots. This had no dives. It was a very ground and pound match, and I really enjoyed that about it.
It did have one dive. It was the suplex into the diving elbow.
He didn't dive. He fell on top of a guy.
Which looked like it's supposed to be a splash, but turned into an elbow because he didn't want to hurt himself.
He couldn't make that jump. You see the way, and let's see if I can get this way. I believe that was Cash Wheeler that jumped, right? I believe
Cash Wheeler, and I can't even remember the other one.
It's Dax.
Dax.
I don't remember the last name. I just call him Dax. Cash and Dax. So or Dex. I don't know. It's one or the other. I know it's close. I know he used to be Dash. No, it doesn't matter. No, I'm so confused on their
Dash is now Cash.
Yeah, Dash is Cash, and Chad is Dex. Their names are confusing. I don't care, but that was definitely a fall. The thing about the match that I enjoyed the match, but it was the post match which kind of bugged me a little bit. When the Young Bucks came out there, I was fine with them looking at them and saying they're the best tag team in the world, but I didn't need all the other tag teams interfering. I feel like it was just them ruining the moment for me. That I wanted something like that.
I was actually going to ask the question: have the Young Bucks been carrying the tag team wrestling in the last decade and a half?
I would give them the credit of being one of the top tag teams. I wouldn't give them the number one. For me, in the last decade and a half, the tag team that I think that's been carrying tag team wrestling would be the Briscoes from Ring of Honor. I feel like they were the best tag team for the past, 20 years. And with that, you have the Usos, and then the New Day, the Revival, and then the Undisputed Era, also known as Red Dragon, were a hell of a tag team as well. The Young Bucks is in the middle of all that.
Yeah, I think that they discredit the tag teams around the world. I know it's just a statement to build up to this match, but like I feel like the Usos have done some work. I feel like the New Day have done some work, and like it totally discredits also, like when they were the Revival, it discredits them because they did some work as well.
Yeah, but I think that was the point, is that in any sporting, in wrestling, you have to claim to be the best. If you're not the best, you're just pretty much a mid-card or a joke tag team. You're either Heath Slater or Rhino, or you're the best in the world. And so, I was wondering, Chris's questions, I was wondering with that, it was like a good segment, and then you have Kip Sabian and everybody running out, and I feel like you interrupted. This was to be the equivalent of The Rock, it's not the actual equivalent, but an example would be The Rock and Hogan when they were staring each other down and they look like something's about to happen, and then they'd be interrupted by, let's say, the NWO or something, or the Nation of Domination, whatever the hell happens. It just seemed like it became a cluster, and it lost the subject. And I felt like I really wanted to feel that feud, or I just wanted the Revival to have a promo. In every single interview in AEW, it seems like they're always interrupted by somebody. It's like an ongoing joke. There's no interview in which somebody was ever not interrupted. Anything to say about that? I left my water in the fridge. I was not.
No, I enjoyed the finish. It was they renamed the Shatter Machine the Goodnight Express, and then they ended on a spike pile driver, which they called the Mindbreaker, which was a very good move to end up. Considering it's a banned move in WWE.
Which move do you prefer more? The Shatter Machine, now known as the Goodnight Express, which I like the name, and I think should be their finisher, or do you like the Brainbuster pile driver in the corner? It's not whatever it's called.
I prefer the Shatter Machine, to be honest, or the Goodnight Express, because it's a code breaker into a flapjack into a code breaker, which always looks good.
Yeah, it's basically a 3D into some knees, and and I like that. I like that was their move. I don't need, like, everybody in AEW are held up on doing homages or trying to give back to the past, but I would like for more of them to just be themselves. And I feel like the Revival had a chance to just beat themselves and do the Shatter Machine, but they came out and was like, you know what, we're going to just do the Brainbuster knockout.
Also, side note, it was really good to see Arn Anderson and Tully and just sat in the crowd taking notes.
Yeah, managers. I enjoyed the managers going like, ooh, maybe that could get them a potential client. The only person that was missing from that was Taz, who would seem like he should be out there scouting more time since he was hunting Darby Allin and he recruited Brian Cage. But I did like seeing everybody else out there recruiting him. I don't think they need a manager. I hope they don't get one. I feel like they did solid mic work on the previous week, or just let them be themselves. What do you think of the entrance of that they're going to drive with the pickup truck every single week?
They need to. I know it's COVID times, but they need to change the kind of entrance area for that to work more better, because they come in and then it's a really tight entrance way.
And it's like, excuse me. And, I feel like as long as they're in daily place, that's when it's going to. That's how long they're going to probably keep the entrance like that, because I don't believe in other arenas you have that option of driving in your pickup truck into an arena. All right. The next thing I want to talk about, I'm going to move ahead. I'm going to skip ahead to some stuff. I know there's stuff that happened in between. The next will be the 6-man tag. That the match was fine itself, but it's more about the assassination of Orange Cassidy. I felt like when Jericho left the commentator booth with Floyd in the head, and then they had a premeditated attack to attack somebody with oranges. And according to Excalibur and JR, 20 pounds of blood oranges.
How do you guess or estimate weight from just looking at it?
I know. It's like, unless you're in on this. I wouldn't know if those were blood oranges or regular oranges, to be honest, or the weight. I just go to the store and like there's oranges. Unless
Jericho's mic was off, was like, hey JR, look what I'm about to do. I'm about to pull out 20 pounds of blood oranges. I'm gonna kill a man.
I'm gonna kill a man with some blood oranges. You ain't never seen that. Oh, I thought the blood oranges looked ridiculous when he was hitting them the first time, but then the second time when he hit him when he was on the ground, it made me flinch and go, oh, that hurts. I ain't fucking with that. So I enjoyed that segment, and I believe Jericho and Orange Cassidy is a nice distraction feud until I guess they bring back Mike Tyson, if that's the plan.
I really hope that's not the plan. It's just something I just don't want to watch. But the funny thing I enjoyed about this match was Jericho making the quote of the night. Hager looks like he's beating up a 15-year-old version of himself when he was fighting Orange Cassidy. But then when I paused it and I was about to make a meme, it was when Orange Cassidy was tagged in and then he stood face to face with Hager. It looked like Captain America, Steve Rogers, before and after Super Soldier Serum. Yeah,
it would be. Yeah, that would be a good example of what they look like. So you have anything else to say on this segment?
No, let's just end it with Blood Orange Cassidy has just been juiced. And move on.
Well, I think somebody else said he beat the Pope out of him. And I felt like that was a very good orange juice pun. But
yeah.
If this was real, it's very kind of sick. That you had that pun in your bag. So the next thing to talk about, I'm only try to touch on 3 subjects. I know we had a women's match, between the tag match between the Alien, Chris Statlander, and Sheeta against Nyla Rose and Penelope Ford.
The only thing I'm going to say about this, I feel like when Britt Baker's at ringside, I feel like she's a distraction to what's going on in the ring. I feel like they need to stop showing her. And then I thought it was an overall good match, and the heels winning it with heel tactics, and was hoping to see what that double team move was that involved the springboard that she didn't manage to pull off.
Yeah, I don't know. I like, to me, I felt like the women are getting better. I thought Nyla Rose's double knee spot on the corner was probably the spot of the night, of all the night, between any wrestler. I was just like, oh man, that looked really cool. And it had a really good angle in which you could tell, which it showed that even if she would have missed, you would have been able to see it. And so it was really a good moment. My issue is again with the referee, in which Kip Sabian is blatantly cheating. He's blatantly cheating. He pulls a guy's leg, and right in front of the referee, everybody reacts, and to the commentator, no disqualification whatsoever. So,
can I just pause? I'm just like, Chris, we can see the chat, but it was you distracting us from what we were talking about.
You damn right I ignored the chat. I'm like a wrestler in the ring. You can't have any outside interference distract me, all right? I'm not gonna get distracted and get hit with a chair in my back, all right? I'm focused on the task at hand. Multitask not your strong point, Eric. Look at the show, all right? Look at the production value of this. All right, look at that production value. The Manny and Marcus Show, the AEW recap. Look at the date. I mean, don't look at the date, but look at it.
It was yesterday's date, the date of the show yesterday.
So those are for the people in the chat. Just remember, for those who are watching this later, we are live every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. You are a distraction. I'm being distracted now. I was focusing on the game. Dang.
Come on, we got 15 minutes.
All right. The next segment, we can talk about Mox and Brian Cage. Mox is in the parking lot. He's being interviewed by the worst interviewer in the game, whose name I refuse to mention on this show because I would rather have Mike Adamle or Todd Pettengill sitting there. So he's getting interviewed.
I don't like. First of all, I need to pause you right there. I don't think Todd Pettengill can ever be put in that category with this man. Don't you dare put Todd Pettengill. Todd Pettengill is up here. Marvez is down here somewhere.
Todd Pettengill isn't up here. He's probably like right here. It's like there's the top where my hand is invisible. There's the middle, and there's the bottom. No, you're gonna be on the show, Eric, and it's gonna be more. Like, I'm just skimming through it. Like, I haven't covered half the show. Like, I know you meticulously cover all of AEW. I didn't talk about 90% of the show.
The Eric Show.
The Eric Show. Just Eric. That's gonna be the Eric Show, and it just goes just Eric. Live. And he just talks. But Mox and Cage had their segment. I thought it was a solid segment. But Taz coming out of nowhere, out of his trailer, to cuss out Jon Moxley. I was like, how did he hear him?
He seemed like he was out of breath by the time he got to Mox as well.
So you think he had to run across the arena?
It looked like he was smoking 40 a day, 40 cigarettes a day, and then made a run to get to Moxley. It was like, why are you chatting shit, my friend?
So Moxley gets thrown through a car window, which it seems like in wrestling these days, you can destroy a car. Because that's what's been going on lately. We have the budget to destroy cars, but we release everybody.
The car had an AEW license plate, so it's clearly someone's company car.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's Tony Khan's. Hopefully it's Cody's. But he drives that pickup truck, so I doubt it. Alright, moving on to the main event. The TNT champion, Cody Rhodes, versus Black Lives Matter Mark Quinn, who accompanied by his white savior Matt Hardy and his tag partner,
White Savior.
Yeah, whose tag partner I can't remember. I don't remember his name. He's white savior.
Oh, Cassidy something.
I don't care. Honestly, I feel like this match was really stupid. I think that's my review.
It was just there to get to the end. That's the only reason it was there.
It was so stupid to me. Mark Quinn looks like an absolute dope. There was Cody Rhodes going against a guy who can only flip. Like, his only offense, he has no punches, he has no holds, he just only flips. And he had an injured ankle. You would think you would try to change it up. But it was like, I'm going to go to a 450. I'm going to go to a moonsault. And it just seemed like he was stuck in that, and it had, to me, it was frustrating as a black man in America to see somebody be that stupid in a match in which he couldn't go for a different hold.
I found it really annoying that, like, he was put in this match. He was clear, like, they were building the whole thing. His ankle's not good. Why is he in this match? His offense is primarily based on doing flips and primarily heavy on that ankle. So why would you put yourself in that kind of position?
Yeah, and then for him to have a title shot, when they brought up his record, he's 5-4. and has not won in like forever. Like, it would make no sense for this match. My biggest complaint about this show, though, is my AEW complaint with everything. They don't know how to end a show. Every show ends either in a Cody celebration or some type of random pull apart between the Inner Circle and the Elite. And that's how this show ended. It was a pull apart that made no sense. You didn't have to end like that. And then they set up a match for Fyter Fest when Cody has to defend his title for the next 2 weeks. It's outrageous. You know what? It's nutrageous.
No, the other thing was, why, if Arn's going to stay outside, why did neither Matt Hardy or Isaiah Cassidy, as Eric kindly corrected us, stay outside?
I don't know. None of it made sense. Like, why didn't they stay for support? It's not like he was going to interfere or anything. None of it made sense. Cody is the detriment of that company this week. Like, but I enjoyed the show. I actually enjoyed the show this week.
If you want to pay attention to the chat, Eric is jealous. He's talking about doing an Eric and Chris show.
The Eric and Chris show? I feel like that would be 7 hours when you get one of Chris' stories going. Like, it's just going to be Eric talking, trying to keep the show alive, and then Chris talking about the time of their employee that came to him and he threw a knife at him and he dodged it, caught it back, threw the knife back, stabbed the guy in the heart. HR came to him, fired Chris, but then they had to rehire him due to legal obligations.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna listen to them.
Damn it, the Jealous Show. Like, that's what they should call it, the Jealous Show. There's the Marcus and Manny Show, and then there's the Jealous Show. Alright, so we're moving on to complete the Wednesday Night War with NXT. The NXT is the post-takeover edition of NXT, and it starts off with Adam Cole coming out there to gloat about how he's the greatest champion of all time, and Roderick Strong being afraid of Dexter Lumis. Manny, how'd you feel about that?
Well, the only thing I wanted to know, and they didn't really, they touched on it lightly, was how did Roddy and Bobby Fish get out of that car, and what did he do to them?
Well, funny you should say that. Roderick Strong was found later. They explained on the show he was found later in the laundry room of his own house, unconscious. Bobby Fish, I'm assuming, just walked away. I don't know. He never talked about it. But Roddy seems to be messed up about the whole ordeal.
The interesting thing about that was there was a tweet from his wife earlier in the week. Like, it's like, where is my husband?
Yeah, you don't bring my husband back by X amount of days, there will be a problem. I believe the police should have been involved, Miss Marina Shafir. I believe. And the investigation shouldn't be hard to find. They were on TV last week. They drove off in the car that the Undisputed Era rented. I don't think it should have been that hard to find them. But, you know, police are shoddy these days and people are going to defund them anyway. So maybe they're not doing their job to the best of their abilities. So, moving on to the next thing. We had the Keith Lee threatening Adam Cole and then going to a mixed tag match against the Garganos, in which they won after Candice LeRae died and Keith Lee tried to save her.
Can you refer to him as Keith Lee, the Lady Killer, please?
He is the Lady Killer because he killed.
He took out Mia Yim as well. Let's not forget about that.
You know, Keith Lee is lucky that he was not arrested because he killed a white woman and he may have got away with it. He's the closest thing to OJ we got in wrestling.
Is that something we really want to joke about now?
No, it's not. It's not. I didn't joke about that at all. I did not joke about that at all. So anyway, moving on throughout the show, how do you feel about Keith Lee threatening Adam Cole later about looking at his title? Do you think that is the right contender? Or, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, is Karrion Kross the right contender?
I feel like let's talk about this all in one go. I'm not a big fan. I know Adam Cole is over. He's a bit of a tweener. He's a heel at heart, but like fans love him because of the indie scene. They
love him because he says "baby" after his name. Man, he's a good wrestler. He's pretty solid.
Boom. But I don't know whether Karrion Kross is a heel or face because he's over with the NXT workers in the crowd. But I would prefer to watch face versus heel, and I think I would get a better match at the moment with Keith Lee versus Adam Cole.
Yeah,
but it leads into Finn Balor challenging Keith Lee as well at the end of his match.
That's true as well. I wanted this to be reversed on the previous Manny and Marcus Show, which is live every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. I wanted to see I wanted to see Finn Balor and Karrion Kross, and I wanted to see Cole and I don't know. I had some weird dynamic. Well, anyway, the fact is, I didn't know I wanted these matchups, but then it's kind of got all intertwined with this NXT, in which Keith Lee is looking at Adam Cole's belt. Adam Cole's being threatened by Karrion Kross with the sand clock, and then Finn Balor is threatening Keith Lee, talking about I have never won the North American title. So it seems like everybody is going for some type of title in this case, and I kind of really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed all that.
Well, it shows more the depth of the NXT roster. It definitely shows off the depth. And Eric, if you didn't finish NXT, why are you still watching?
Yeah, it's not wise to watch this show. Which says NXT recap for June 10th. Like, you want the spoiler? I'm sure he gets the spoilers anyway. Like, we had a conversation about the next thing we're going to talk about. It's El Hilo del Fantasma, who decided that identity was not working for him and decided to go by actually did research. Santos Escobar. Now his running mates, Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilds, as they turn on Drake Maverick. That was a rough transition, but I thought it was a really cool heel turn / reveal / forming of a faction. I thought it was really well done. Yep.
Yeah, it really was done well. And the only thing I didn't feel like really worked was the dives at the end. I feel like that really undersold. They could have done something way better than just I'm just going to jump on him.
The Usos finisher? That's what they do.
Yeah.
Well, it was a 3-way move, Manny. You didn't see the 3-way combination. Yes, they dove on him. But El Hijo del Fantasma, now known as Santos Escobar, did a neck twist after they jumped on him and ended up being a trios combination move. I felt like that he snapped his neck. And I thought it was well done. And Drake Maverick had that shit coming. He went out there and he was like, I don't mean to take your spotlight from last week when I got my contract and people were so happy for me and you just won the Intercontinental title. But he came out, took the spotlight again to say, I can beat your ass. And I feel like that was wrong. That was absolutely wrong for him to do. So he deserved that ass whooping. What do you think of this new faction of kidnappers and luchadors who threw off their masks? I don't know what they're...
I didn't understand but the other thing that needs to be explained was who was the other two?
Oh, that was Joaquin Raul Mendoza. They were kidnapped to start the story.
No. Remember, they were kidnapped by masked men. Both of them. So who are the other masked men?
Those were members of the Dark Order. They were Uber drivers. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not good. Maybe he was one of the guys that kidnapped them the first time, and he had another guy that didn't make the cut. That clearly didn't make the cut. Maybe there's another guy. But I really like this tandem, and I feel like the Cruiserweight title has never meant more than it does right now. And that's not saying much, but how you feel about that,
Manny? So I've got distracted by completely what's going on in the chat. So shout out to El Luchador. We've got Dino Knight in the house.
Dino Knight.
So Eric has said, you guys are taking our spotlight by doing the sideshow. We were a family and you ruined that. Manny, ask Marcus what's on his shirt.
I flashed it. It's Walter White. It's a Breaking Bad shirt. It's a combination of all the things like just winter bagels and all that and stuff. So it's a really cool shirt. Had it for a while though. So that's
okay.
all I got.
And then so that just leaves us to the main event.
The main
Adam
event
Cole versus Dexter Lumis.
What is your thoughts on Dexter Lumis as a character and on this match as well?
I like the creepy vibes you get off him. You kind of miss that. Like, we haven't had that since Heidenreich. Reading code.
Heidenreich?
Yeah. Do you not remember Heidenreich? Where he basically
raped
molested.
No, it was
trying to avoid saying that.
Don't smooth over rape. No one has ever smoothed over rape. There's never been a smooth rape. Alright.
A very solid match. And it led to some things. I
like that you seem to be distracted by the chat because they're saying a bunch of stuff.
It's so distracting.
See, I've ignored it as a trained professional and a person that's been podcasting for over 15 years. For 15 years, I've learned to ignore the people and just do your show. But with that being said, I really enjoyed Dexter Lumis. I enjoyed this match. I enjoy his style. He's somebody that really knows his character, as I've stated before. But what I'm looking forward to, and I hope we actually get it, is Dream and Dexter Lumis becoming a tag team. Just becoming a tag team. Just a
makeshift one for a night, or just permanently?
A permanent tag team for right now. I feel like there'd be a nice makeshift tag. They both use mind games and tactics. I feel the Dream's experience, his whole snapping the finger and blah, all his Princeisms would mesh well with the serial killer that is Dexter Lumis. Our show doesn't condone any type of rape. That was close to Eric. Ours don't either. So Heidenreich, you should learn your lesson. So my final question to you, Manny, on this show: who won this night of the Wednesday Night War?
I felt like it was at the start. If you were comparing it by side, it would have been AEW. But NXT finished strong. Whereas AEW, I got the ending I always get.
Yeah.
You got distracted by someone calling you a professional. I just saw you.
So what? I have an ego, okay? And then I got distracted more, but
I just want to point out, Dino Knight, I work with Dino Knight.
Oh, okay. 6 viewers in the chat right now. This is more than we've ever had in the history of the Sharpshooters, Eric. I'm telling you, Eric, you take away Eric, you're the Charlotte Flair of the Sharpshooters. You just make people want to turn away. I'm just saying.
I'm Bailey, and he's Sasha Banks.
With that being said, I'm going to give the win this week for me, NXT. I felt like they may not have like the great matches or anything that stood out, but I feel like they had the moments to me that stood out. I thought the ending with the Scarlett bringing the clock out and Cole clutching his title and the symbolism of him bragging about how much time he's been champion, and then the fact that it ends with TikTok at the end and the crowd chanting that and falling prey and all that. I thought that was really cool. I thought the Santos Estrada or Escobar reveal was really dope. And I had a lot of fun with Roderick Strong being afraid of Dexter Lumis. For me,
he's
AEW...
there. Marcus, he's there. Marcus is right there.
You're tripping out, Manny. You're tripping out. So yeah, that is the end of our show. Unless you have anything else to say, Manny.
I don't have anything other to say unless they have any questions in the chat that they want us to answer.
All right, we're taking a chat. We're not going to ignore you anymore, guys. Here we go. Let's see how it is. Anything you want. Anything. Oh, wait, we are out of time. I'm sorry. You guys didn't make it. I'm sorry. The show is over. You guys did your best. Here's the end credits. I'm so sorry, guys. I am so sorry. It is over. This is it. This is the end of the show. Please subscribe and like this show. It's going to be on every Tuesday and Thursday. I'm Marcus, joined by
Lord Manny Hayes.
And this is the Manny and Marcus Show. I hope you enjoyed. And I would like anybody to stay sharp. And tune in Saturday when we be live again in a real, holistic Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast hosted by Eric, who's in the chat. But me and Manny will be on there. We will be on there. So tune in for us.
Like that?
Stay for tune in for Eric. Stay with us.
Before we close, what is the best milkshake flavor?
Oh, that's strawberry, baby. But you know what? To be honest, I like my milkshakes like this. I want a vanilla milkshake, but I want there to be real fresh strawberries in there so I can dip my strawberries into the vanilla milkshake. Boom.
That's almost as that's almost as like dipping them in chocolate. Well, what are you into?
I like the cup, okay? So tune in Saturday, 11 a.m. Right? It's 11, right? I'm going to be on time this time. 11 a.m. live on the YouTube channel.
It's 7 p.m. Greenwich Meridian time, and I don't know what the other time. The other time.
Eastern time it is 2, right? That's 3 hours different. Yeah, 2 in the morning. It don't matter. They'll be here. If not, just check us out on the YouTubes. You gotta subscribe, like. You see the little red arrows. Until next time, stay sharp. That's all I got. Oh wait, I gotta hit.